What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Real Red Politics video. Today we are going to be discussing the upcoming Pennsylvania Senate election and sort of give my thoughts on kind of how the state could play out in terms of which Republican candidate is likely to get the nomination, and if that candidate does get, like, depending on the candidate that gets the nomination, will that candidate be able to win over Fetterman in the general election? So my thoughts on this: a while back when I was analyzing Dr. Oz's, I was like pretty certain that Dr. Oz would probably end up winning. At the time, anyways, when I analyzed it, he was up in the polls by, I think, a higher margin, and because he had just received that Trump endorsement, and two, he seemed more kind of more of a prominent candidate. He had more name recognition than Kathy Barnett, and was certainly a better candidate than certainly a better candidate than McCormick. And now stuff has shifted a little bit. Now, has my thoughts on who's going to get the nomination changed? No. If I'm going to be completely honest, I still believe that for the Pennsylvania Republican nomination, that Oz will get that nomination. I mean, as of right now, if we want to look at the polls, every poll has Oz up by at least 2 points. I mean, except one poll has Oz up by about 1 point or so ahead of Barnett, and then you have McCormick, who's a lot lower in the polls. So if we kind of take a look, and then you can take a look at the Democratic primary polling, and I mean, obviously Fetterman's going to probably take the Democratic nomination. So with that in mind, to kind of understand Pennsylvania, from what I understand, it seems to be a more of a swing state than really a Republican state or a Democratic state. It seems more of a battleground state, more of a swing state. And I think with that in mind, you kind of have to take a look at each candidate, and out of all the candidates, who's most likely to probably win the general if they win the primary. And out of the three most prominent Republican candidates for the Senate of Pennsylvania, in my opinion, Oz is most likely to take the nomination for the Republican side of the Senate race. Like I said, you got Oz up in the polls, you got all that kind of stuff, and so with that in mind, we can take a look over here how Pennsylvania has voted in previous presidential elections, and you can look at presidential elections. You can look that it for a while Republican Democrat, Republican Democrat, or well, Republican Republican, Democrat Democrat Democrat, Republican Democrat, Republican Republican Republican, and then there was a period of time. Okay, I don't know why. Anyways, it continues to follow that trend, and kind of taking that into consideration, we can look at this and go, this is neither a Democrat state nor a Republican state. It is a swing state, and depending on how candidates run their campaigns will kind of affect how likely they are to win. And because of the endorsement that Oz has, it gave him a boost, so to speak, in the likelihood in which he wins the Senate race. And of the three options, Oz is most likely to win if he gets the nomination over Fetterman. And I think if Barnett were to be the candidate, which there's still a possibility that the polls can end up being wrong. I mean, polls have been wrong in the past. But there is a possibility that Barnett can carry the candidacy for the Senate. But If she does, I don't think she has as likely of a chance to win over Fetterman. Instead of, if Oz is running, or if Oz got the nomination. Again, I think Oz does better, so to speak, with moderate voters than I think Barnett does, and I think that's a very key importance is when you have a lot of swing voters, a lot of people that swing either to the left or to the right, depending on kind of who's running that year. I think Oz does a better job um, at I guess the word I'm looking for is kind of, or the phrase I'm looking for is he appeals to moderates, I think, more than Barnett does, which I mean, it has its pros and cons. I mean, I think if he were running against a more conservative candidate in, say, a state like, instead of a state like Florida, for example, then I don't think he'd win. But with the state that he's running in, I do believe that he will win if he gets the nomination. If he doesn't get the nomination, it'll be Barnett that gets the nomination, and I don't think she has as likely of a chance to win, even in a red wave year, just because, again, Pennsylvania is a swing state. In swing states, you gotta appeal to moderate voters more. Not that you don't have to appeal to non-moderate voters, but it's very important to campaign alongside or in a way that it does appeal to moderate or centrist voters, because that's going to help you get an edge over the person that's opposing you in that race, either with your own side or the other side. And so that's pretty. I mean, in my opinion, that's important. My overall thoughts going into today's um, into the general or primary today. I think it's just the primary. I don't think the general. Yeah, the general I don't think occurs yet. I think it's the primary. Pretty sure. Anyways, as of right now, bottom line, Oz will carry the nomination. I'm not saying he's the better candidate. Not, but I'm saying he is more likely to take the candidacy. I believe he will win over Fetterman. If Barnett is the nominee, she may still win over Fetterman, but I think it's not as likely as if Oz were to be the candidate or be the nominee for the Republican side. And that's 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 my opinion on everything. Um, Trump gave, or when he endorsed Oz, I think was a very for the Oz campaign, and we can you can look at statements here. And on May 12th, Trump issued a statement opposing Barnett. Quote, Barnett will never be able to win the general election against the radical left Democrats. She has many things in her past which have not been properly explained or vetted. Quote, he said. Oz seems more pro-Trump, and considering Trump won that state in 2016, I think people are going to be more likely to vote for the candidate that received the Trump endorsement. And as of right now, even with Barnett receiving more recognition, so to speak, from the media or more name recognition, I think it's too late in the election cycle. Because one again the primary happens today, and I think if she were to have had a way to get her name recognition out there sooner or something, then she may have likely not only got the nomination, but she probably would have had a better chance to win the general than if she gets the nomination now. But again, that's my opinion. And to kind of conclude just to kind of wrap things up, and as of right now, it looks, and I will analyze this after the primary after the primary is over. I will take a look if there's any new polling that's released or whatever, and I will kind of share the results, and I will give my thoughts going into the actual general that occurs in November of who I think will win, depending on who the Republican nominee is right now, or is. But as of right now, I do believe Oz will not only win the nomination, but I think he will also win the general. But, things could change, and, if things change, then things change. I mean, but that's what I had to kind of, I guess, give my opinion on today, and that's what my thoughts are when it comes to this pretty important election coming up in November, especially for these key swing states such as Pennsylvania. And so with all of that in mind, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, what you disagree with, what you agree with. If you think Oz will be the nominee, and if he is, will he win? Let me know if you think someone else will be the nominee. Just curious about what your guys' thoughts are. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos, more political videos coming your guys' way.